not looking forward to doing some decline kickbacks. Um, I don't mind necessarily doing triceps presses, one-arm triceps presses in the bed, um, and I don't necessarily mind too much doing skull crushers, which are also good for the triceps. The triceps press, the one-arm triceps press, those really rip up the triceps pretty good. They're really good. They're really hard on the muscles, and I think they're pretty darn good. But it's with the thing about all exercises is it's good to have variety. It's good to try different. It's good to have different things to fall back on, because they might hit different muscles, or they might hit the same muscle but in a different location. And from what I've I think Scooby 61, I think he said that what you can do is, or the triceps are really responsive. They're more responsive to exercises than the biceps. The triceps are the muscles in the back of your arm, and the biceps are the guns, on the top of your arm, on the front of your arm, I guess, or on the top of your arm. So, that's what I do. I do mostly the exercises that work on the triceps a little bit more than I do exercises that work on the biceps, because of that simple fact of because the muscles are a little bit more responsive, I believe. I do the biceps. I do bicep curls, and I do 21s, and some other biceps exercises. Some like preacher curls. I also do those. Sometimes I do them in the bed. Sometimes I do them on the weight machine. But what it does is when I do them in bed, it really ends up being pretty darn hard on my elbows, and I'm not too crazy about that. And I was thinking that sometimes the reason why my elbows are getting so fried sometimes whenever I'm doing exercises is because I'm getting to a full extension. I'm straightening out my arm totally at every rep, at the end of every rep, and that's probably not so much of a good thing. So every once in a while I run across elbow pain, or I run across wrist pain, and that's a little bit more significant. It becomes a little bit more apparent as you get older. I wanted to put on this video some of the difficulty that I was having whenever I was doing the transfers. On one hand, and I wanted to have the weight bench dislocated somewhat, so that and attached to the bed, so that I could lay my legs on the bed and not directly onto the ground, and that way I would, my legs would be somewhat stretched out. And funny, kind of an interesting thing here is I didn't expect my legs to be, they're kind of spread out a little bit, and so I'm kind of like settling the weight bench, the decline weight bench, and I didn't mean that. So it's probably a good thing that I recorded so I could see this. But so maybe next time, whenever I do these decline presses or decline kickbacks, excuse me, then I'm probably going to pay a little bit more attention to the orientation of my legs and make sure that my legs are sitting on the bench. Actually, the thighs. I want to make sure that the thighs or the quadriceps, or so, I think that's what they're called. I want to make sure that they're physically on the weight bench. What I did was um, I tied one of my catheters, used catheter. I looped it through my belt, and one side of the belt loop, and then I ran it through the eye of my shorts, and then I tied the catheter ends together, and then after that, then I had something to grab onto, because the reason why I do that is because I want to put the strap, I guess they call it a weight strap or something like that, so that you don't screw up things internally, I think, or so you don't get a hernia or something. I'm not quite sure how it works out, but the weight strap, I wanted to make sure that I could run it through that catheter, and that catheter was attached to my shorts, and the weight strap, then I attach that to my weight bench, the back of my weight bench, so I didn't slide down, because the reason why I slide down is because I start to get pretty sweaty. I don't know if you saw, you probably can't see it, it's kind of small, but I did sweat quite a bit after these repetitions, after these sets. I did have the fan on, even though it is getting close to chilly temperatures. I think that tomorrow it's going to drop 10 or 15 degrees or something like that, so it is starting to get kind of cool, but it's still a little bit too warm, so I do break out a pretty good sweat. And my buddy was telling me that he was doing wheelchair racing in Alaska, and he was working up a sweat, and it was chilly in Alaska. So even though it can be pretty darn cold, you still can work up quite a sweat, especially if you work out for like 20 minutes or a half hour or something like that. That's usually what I do. I wanted to make sure that I do my holds in between each rep. Actually, in between each set and the final sets. The final couple sets is the hardest part, because the final set, what I do is I do 49 reps, and then in between the 49 reps and the next set, then I do a hold, and the hold, I hold it for about 58 seconds. I try to hold it for about 58 seconds, and then I do 58 more reps, and then after that, then I do hold for about 13 seconds,